Clint, 4 years at QPR so far, and I think it's fair to say you've crammed a lot into the 4 years. So what we'll do, we'll go through some photos in chronological order, which sort of sum up your time at QPR so far.
Okay.
And I think the first one's obvious to start with Neil Warnock, who brought you to the club, and I suppose you've got a lot to be grateful to him for.
Yeah, even before the move to QPR, I was at Stoke City. Had an injury kind of ravaged career at Stoke, and he seen something in me to take me to Crystal Palace, give me the enthusiasm and the love for the game back, which was important for me. And lucky enough, he brought me to this club, and that year was amazing. It was probably the best year I've ever been involved in. The way the whole team just clicked, and the way we approached every game, the way we played every game was fantastic, not just for me, but I suppose for the fans as well. And
the start to that season was an incredible run. I think we had 26 points from the first 10 league games, and this was in the midst of that run against Doncaster. I think Paddy had tapped it onto the bar and it looked like a certain goal, and you managed to pull off a goal line clearance. Do you remember these moments when you see them?
Yeah, that just goes through my head now. What I think we were struggling at the time. I think they were on top of us, and I think that's probably one of the most important bits of defending I've done, to be honest with you. Like you said there, Paddy done a terrific save onto the bar, and lucky enough, I don't think he hit it too hard enough, and I managed to get back. And I still think, I don't know how I didn't put it in, to be honest with you. The way I must have just hit the sweet spot on my foot and cleared the bar. But great memories and a great team to be involved with. It really was. Like you said there, the way we started that season was frightening. I don't think anybody really expected that. Yeah. And it's just carried us on right the way through.
And I think your little girl's 7 now and studying Macbeth.
Jeez, look at this.
You've got her there coming out against Leeds, and obviously that was an incredibly emotional day. It was only about 45 minutes before that you actually discovered you had been promoted. There was talk of a points deduction, ending up back in the playoffs. So it must have been crazy emotions when you were walking out there.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it was a disgrace how the club and the players were treated, to be honest with you. Leaving it up to 45 minutes in the last game of the season, I thought it was a big, massive disrespect to the club. And we couldn't really celebrate. We didn't know what our fate was. And then all I remember is, I think it was Gianni at the time, coming in, crying, wailing, arms everywhere, saying, "Yeah, we're okay, we're all right, I told you. And that was just a massive relief. Don't remember anything about the game, didn't really care about the game at that point. It was just all about us getting the justice that we felt we deserved, and thankfully it was all right for us.
It led to promotion, your first game in the Premier League, and you feared it would be your last.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd play, to be honest with you, in the Premier League. I remember that game wasn't a great game, and I got myself sent off, which wasn't right for myself. And then from there on, I thought that's it, to be honest. Obviously, Neil brought his players in, and he was very forthright with me and said that you probably won't be playing now. So if you want to go out on loan, then you go out. And I managed to do that and get fit and play a few games, and the rest is kind of history at the moment. Yeah,
you went on loan to Nottingham Forest, did very well, and then were called back. And your first game back was at Loftus Road against Chelsea. And in terms of atmospheres at stadiums, that's got to be up there.
Oh, definitely. Not just. I don't know who I played the week before in the Championship, and then to come back and say you're up against Sturridge and Drogba and all them, it was like, wow, baptism of fire. But that game was just surreal. I think they had 2 sendings off. We got a penalty, electric atmosphere, and it just reminded me like what a proper derby is. And it was intense, and lucky enough we hung on. I don't think we got a touch. We only had 9 men. I think they still popped the ball around us. That's how good they were. But thankfully, we managed to get a 1-0 win, and that gave us that little bit of belief as well, and give the fans a bit as well.
As the season went on, it was obvious it was going to become a real relegation scrap, and as it would turn out, us against Bolton. So when we played them at their place, it was really regarded as your archetypal 6-pointer. And what do you remember about this when you're headed across the line? It never was, and you're still waiting for your first Premier League goal.
I'm still waiting. It's to be fair, I don't know how the keeper's done it. The way it's hit his arm, his forearm or whatever, and bounced out and hit the crossbar and went clear. I don't think he'd ever do that again. Got a full connection on it. I thought it was destined for the back of the net. Obviously it was a goal, but the referee in that didn't see it. And I think for us to get a point there would have, I think, took the pressure off us at Man City.
Got the late win,
So it was a big call that they got wrong. Thankfully, they brought this kind of technology in now, so that'll never happen again, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. It went down to the final day. It ended up being successful for QPR, but there was that point where Aguero scored, and while the QPR fans were all celebrating because they knew, Man City fans were celebrating because they'd now won the title. And I always wonder how true it is that a few of you say, no, we genuinely didn't know, until I saw that picture.
Yeah.
And clearly, yourself, Anton, Sean Derry believe you have just been relegated in injury time.
Yeah, that picture says 1,000 words, doesn't it? It's you just remember him picking it up, going through and scoring. And you're like, oh my God, how have we let this slip? 3-2. We were relegated, and then literally 30 seconds, not even that. After that, I remember Righty coming up to me saying, "Don't even worry about it. The game's over there. We're up. We're surviving." And I think it definitely was half the team knew that it was over, that game was over, and we were up no matter what. But yeah, looking at our faces there, we're absolutely devastated. But 10 minutes later, we're having a few beers in the dressing room. So
with the Man City players in there as well, I think. But they were the celebrations. The QPR fans got on the pitch as well, and it was just a stadium of celebration.
Yeah, I would have dreaded to think what it would have been like if we did manage to nick a point or a win at that turn. I don't think it would have been as friendly as that with the Man City fans everywhere, high-fiving them and getting pats on the back, making my way to our fans. But yeah, just massive emotions that day, just relief that we finally actually kind of done the impossible, really, when you look at the fixture list we had towards the end of the season. Big achievement.
And then having gone through all that to keep the club's Premier League status, the following season, I think we only need one picture really to sum it up, and that was at the Medeski Stadium. Reading were relegated, QPR were relegated. It must have been very tough for you to take that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, that probably wasn't the game that we got ready. There was plenty more before that. That was just the nail in the coffin, really. It was a bad year, probably one of my worst in football. It's been well documented in the press, and from what people have said, that it just wasn't right in the dressing room and in around the club. There was no camaraderie there or team spirit. And you just felt like you're on your own on the pitch sometimes. So disappointing. But I think hopefully as a club we've learnt from that, and we'll never go down that route again.
And always wise to keep your top off.
Yeah, especially with Nadim. He's actually looking quite small there. if you get a picture of him now, he's doubled the size.
But one, I suppose, it was a good personal moment for you. Jamie Carragher's final game at Anfield. You were a Scouser, a big Liverpool fan, and you were the captain of the opposition on that day. It must have been a special personal moment. Yeah, no,
I mean, that's definitely one of the highs for me to obviously lead your team out at Anfield, your boyhood club. Never played there before, and to have my dad and my mum there as well. It was just a big thank you for them for supporting me as a kid, and for them to see me walk out there was very emotional for them. But this man here, to be involved on his last game was an honour for me. One of the best defenders I've seen in a red shirt, and someone that I looked up to and tried to study. So massive day for me.
And another personal milestone, I think you said you were embarrassed collecting that one. That was your Player of the Year award in the season we were relegated. It was actually back-to-back Player of the Year awards for you, which is an incredible achievement as well.
Yeah, it is, but it's kind of, I mean, as nice as it is, and you probably look back in a few years and say, that's brilliant. But at the time, I don't think anybody really expected any kind of achievement award because of what happened that season. So very thankful, but I was very kind of slightly embarrassed at the time about that.
Okay, the following season, last season, it was all about getting back into the Premier League, and this photo, this is you scoring the winner at Leeds United. It sums up the group spirit there as well. Yeah,
it was totally different start. You know, we obviously emptied a lot of players out who didn't want to be here, brought in some really good lads, and we needed them because obviously it's going to be a difficult year in the Championship. And I think we went on one hell of a run at the start, which set us up. in a very difficult league. So it was a massive achievement to go up first time as well.
And it would seem to be a season where the players and the fans almost reunited. It's probably best summed up by Tony Mills Day, who's suffering from terminal cancer. He was brought into the dressing room, and it did seem to typify the closeness that again existed between the players and the supporters.
I think, I don't know, I think the fans probably thought they got the club back. I don't know. Probably thought that they'd lost a bit of the identity that year that we went down and didn't feel part of the club in any way. And I think I thought we'd build a few bridges last year in showing them that we do care, and I mean, and they responded by showing us their support, and I think they've got the club back, which is all they want really.
A photo that probably sums up Clint Hill on the pitch. Relatively quiet off the pitch, but on the pitch you're a different animal, as they say, and that probably typifies what you're like on the pitch, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm very vocal when I'm on the pitch in training every day. It's something, if we go back a few pages, that I've kind of learned off Carragher. You know, he's one of the loudest players you hear. You can hear him on the TV sometimes, you know, when he was playing. And I just think it simplifies your game, and it simplifies the players' games in front of you. If you're constantly communicating, you'll save a few yards running as well. So, I don't think there's enough of that in the game at the moment. I think there's room for more communication, definitely. And
leading up to ultimately the playoff final, the playoffs, and the second leg at Loftus Road, which will live long in the memory, I think, of all QPR fans and players who were involved. And the incredible picture of you having substituted yourself because we were 1-0 down, and you felt there was an opportunity for Ewan to come on in the second half and get at them down that left-hand side. But you didn't just sit down on the substitutes bench, you seemed to adopt a first-team coach approach.
Obviously, I just thought, with the more attacking player down that side, especially the way the game was going, it could work in our favour, and lucky enough it did. Young came on and done a fantastic job, forward and defensively, and I don't know, just probably got bought into the emotion of the game and the atmosphere. I think I still thought I was playing there, to be honest with you, by the looks of me. But you know, that's the kind of group we had. Everybody wanted to dig in for each other. That went down to the subs as well. So every little thing that you can do, hopefully that brings us together a bit more.
And you talk about that togetherness and that incredible huddle. It was 2-1 at that point. It was going into the second half of extra time. That huddle just typified everything about that group, didn't it?
Yeah, I think is that going into the second half of extra time as well.
Yeah, it's 2-1.
So I mean, I can't imagine being a Wigan player looking at that. You know, I'm sure it probably disheartened them a little bit.
And you can even see the Wigan players in the background just waiting for you to kick off.
I mean, they're probably a bit tired and a bit despondent, and you see a group of men like that. Not just the men, you've got staff, you've got everybody in there, geeing each other up, shouting, on your feet, looking like you're ready to go again, like it's the start of the game. And that, I think that's definitely works in our favour, and it's something we've carried on as a team, that we look to do before games, away from prying eyes. You know, we get together and we say a few words and just show that we're all connected and we're all together.
And you're not involved in this picture. The only one you're not involved in, I don't think you'll have any complaints. What do you think of when you see that? It was just unreal. For the way the game was going, obviously gone down to 10 men. And you're just thinking, if we can just hang on, maybe take them to penalties, get a bit of luck, then you just never know. All the odds were stacked against us that day, I think. I don't think many people wanted QPR to go up in the first place. So for that man to score that goal, and I think a few years ago it was pretty much in a similar position that he'd done for West Ham as well, I think, was just the emotions. When that ball at the back of the net was just, I don't think you'll ever relive again. And the celebrations were fantastic as well. I bet they were, and that must have been a special moment. Not too many people go up in front of a packed Wembley Stadium in front of 90,000 and hold aloft the trophy.
Yeah, going back 10 years when I think I got sent off in a League Cup final, never got the chance to walk up the steps. That ate away at me for a long time in my career, and to go back there and win and walk up the steps and rectify all them wrongs it was just brilliant for me, and to obviously share it with Joey as well, who was such a big influence that season. Just typified what kind of character we had. Yeah, I mean, that's what you dream of as a kid when you're a footballer, going to Wembley and winning something. I never thought that had happened, so I've got to thank the boys for that one.
Okay, and finally, the current team photo, squad photo. What does the future hold for QPR?
It's going to be hard. You know, I think the Premier League's improved from the last time we were in there. Obviously, there's more money that's come in, and the teams that you'd think would be in the bottom half have strengthened. They've got some really good players in there. I think the top half and maybe top 4 or 5 are in their own league. I don't think many teams can compete with them. But hopefully, I mean, if we stay positive and stay together, I think we've got as good a chance as anybody else in surviving and staying up. So, positive. Hopefully, injuries won't be too long. We can get our good players back on the pitch and give it a go. It's got to go there and not hold back on any game now. You know what I mean? We've just got to take it to him, and I'm sure the fans would appreciate that as well. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can do it.